Hi, and welcome to the 7th episode of Liberty Music PR's podcast. Can't believe we're actually here doing the 7th podcast. This was actually an idea of ours that we've been thinking about for quite a while, isn't it, about putting on this podcast, and it probably took us about 6 months to get it off the ground. So we're really glad we did it, and we feel like we're in the flow now, and we've had some really good feedback from friends and family in the industry that's saying actually it's, we're creating some really good content.
Exactly, and you guys, whatever you can do to subscribe, like, share, it really, what it does is helps us build this basically family of artists and creators, and brings everyone together and enables us to do things in the future that are even going to be even more exciting. We're looking at bringing some great guests on, some live shows with artists, and your likes and your subscribes really help us get there. So don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, please do, please do. So we are here on this special episode, closing out the year. We're going to look at 7 highlights of the year, both industry and Liberty sort of mix, and we hope you enjoy this episode. For us, we as a business have ended on a real high. We actually just closed out 2 of our biggest brand collaborations. Obviously, you all know that brand collaborations within the music space is a big area, big business, and it's great exposure for artists of all sizes, and brands always like to see themselves as being talent spotters. So we actually got together with a huge football iconic brand called Maber, who actually have an exclusive shirt collaboration that they're doing with none other than the greatest band in the world, the Beatles, and they've produced an exclusive range, and we've actually just put that activation together. We're almost at the end of it. It's been brilliant. We've really enjoyed it. So that's been a huge high for us at Liberty, hasn't it?
Well, exciting more brand collabs to come. I think this is going to be a new era for artists. Activations, big, not just normal venues, actually playing in stores and like venues that are cool, off the grid kind of places. It just adds that sense of interest and intrigue to artists.
So we actually just finished out the year. Last month we did a month-long series for a high street retailer actually on Regent Street in London, didn't we? And they were an immersive marketplace with all British brands, and they wanted to showcase the best of British music. So we actually did a 4-week curation for them, and it was amazing. The artists had a great time. The brand had a great time. People that came along knew that they were going to see something really special. It was the sort of, the heart of independence. And as a result of that, our phone has literally been ringing off the hook. And we've probably got about 3 or 4 big collaborations to announce, probably by end of Jan, haven't we?
Cool
so watch this space. So brand collaborations is huge and will be even bigger next year, because they're going to sort of leverage each other's power to kind of cross those barriers, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And in music news, we've got this big stuff going on TikTok right now.
Yeah, oh my God, TikTok.
It's quite exciting, actually. I'm amazed at this. I'm literally astounded that Spotify hasn't done this. Like, why haven't they thought of this? But
They're probably like, everyone in the office at Spotify is like,
there's a thing called In The Mix with TikTok. You've probably heard of it. They've broadcast a festival of their own on the platform, both live in the real world and on the platform. So I think about 17,000 people turn up live. 35 million people on the platform was broadcast to. So this is the first time ever, really, that an event has been thrown out across an entire platform. I mean, we've had brands, we've had artists live stream.
It's true,
But the whole platform itself to actually broadcast the event, I think, is a game changer for not only the music industry, for maybe other industries. And I think it's quite exciting. And I'm amazed, again, like Spotify hadn't have thought of this. This is a bit of a, there's a bit of a ball drop, maybe, the fact that they didn't do this before them.
Ball drop.
But I would say, I mean, they had the likes of Charlie Puth and Cardi B and all those kind of known names. It definitely put the spotlight on the fact that venues and live events can be broadcast across entire platforms and gain bigger audiences. I mean, if there's only 17,000 in the audience only, but 35 million watching, what does that mean for up and coming artists?
Well, yeah, that's it.
So, and also they've allowed this new feature called Add Music to App. So I think it's been launched in the UK and the US. Yeah. It's going to be launched in another 19 countries.
Yeah. So if I'm a TikTok user and I listen to, say, your music on TikTok. I can add it into my how does it work? I can add it
Yeah,
to
so
my
you can
library.
add it at the bottom. There's a little icon.
Yeah.
And it will literally add that track to your Spotify library.
Wow.
So, and you can also do it to Amazon Music and Apple Music. So that means artists can now drive traffic from TikTok
To their
through
preferred streaming
to the other streaming
DSP.
platforms. So I think it's a great move by TikTok because they've, rather than competing, they've cooperated.
Yeah, interesting because the sole purpose of these big social media platforms is to keep people on the platform. So this essentially could take someone off the platform, couldn't it?
Yeah,
Or is
I
it
mean,
embedded within the platform that
it's
they
embedded-
don't need to move off the platform?
They don't need to move off, but it essentially is driving people off because they could be driving people off. You know, once you've added it to the list, you might want to go back to your Spotify and listen to it there. So I think it's quite a clever move by TikTok, and it also makes it more exciting for artists to build their TikTok profile. They can reach new audiences on all their platforms, as opposed to platforms fighting over captivity and trying to keep their artists off each other's platforms. So yeah, I think it's an exciting new era, and I think definitely as an artist, if you haven't already, get your micro content up on TikTok.
Get onto TikTok immediately.
Get
and
posting.
also, we could talk about Shorts actually as being like the third most exciting thing that has come out of the music industry this year. It is YouTube Shorts. I mean, YouTube was not going to let TikTok eat its lunch, really, was it? You know, with I don't know how many minutes a day a sort of young Gen Xers are spending on TikTok, but YouTube soon discovered that was taking away the majority of their kind of market share or attention share, weren't they?
You can see they're going up against each other quite heavily.
So enter YouTube Shorts. I mean, well done. It's fantastic, and it works in exactly the same way, doesn't it, really? But it's such an undiscovered area for emerging artists. I mean, TikTok was like that. We used to sort of preach maybe 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, get yourself on TikTok. You know, as an emerging artist, you've got more chance of virality and really breaking it. A lot harder now because every man and their dog's on there, you know, old and young. I go on TikTok for medical advice, which is mad. But basically now, you know, YouTube Shorts is the undiscovered kind of area for, again, emerging music. So it could be a really good time if you're an unsigned artist and you want to start to connect with more people, more fans, is get yourself on YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah. I think we're seeing like the wave of micro content as being a new way to an exciting new way to promote. I think you're seeing a lot of traction through micro content. So micro content being, you know, short little videos.
Yeah, because obviously our attention spans are like, you know.
Yeah, so as an artist, I would say if you have a new release, at least 14 days before the release, try and get yourself a whole folder full of little bits of micro content, 15 seconds, 20, 30 second long clips that tell a story about the song. Like, why did you write it? What inspired you? How are you feeling at the time?
Well, I remember there is a brilliant AI tool for creating shorts. You can put your video in and it will chop it up into 10 different little pieces and pick out what it deems the most interesting part. Yeah. So remember that.
And that's another way again to build your TikTok. So get on there, and you know, you could have a long form like a video like you've done, but then you can bite size it and run it out on shorts.
So that obviously is a great story. I think it would be silly for us to not mention ChatGPT. Is probably one of the biggest things that came out of this year for musicians, music industry. It's certainly made a lot of our lives so much easier. Everything from writing content for us in terms of our next 10 Instagram posts, to supporting us with writing proposals, to writing text, to even, you know, if you're using DALL-E 3 and creating images, and I mean, the list is endless really, isn't it? So I think that for me has probably been the biggest thing that's come out for supporting the music industry. I mean, some people love it, hate it. I mean, you've got to be there. You've got to be in it to win it, really, haven't you? And I think it's just made things a lot easier for us.
Definitely, and like to help you with your thought process as an artist, because often when you go into this world of marketing and trying to get yourself out there and known, and you're faced with a lot of unknowns, things you don't know and don't know how to do.
No.
put in the right prompts in Chat GPT.
Yeah.
You know, how do I find a manager? How do I produce a record for less than $1,000 and it still sound good? You know, all these things that you can really go into.
It can even write marketing strategy for you. You've got to understand how to do prompts, and there's a framework that you use. Google it, see what it means. If you can prompt it in the right way, you can actually get it to create a breakdown, an actual full marketing strategy for you for your next release, and hope that it actually, you know, suggests that you do music PR, which I think a lot of time it does, which is good. So yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is huge. You know, if you're not using it and you think, oh, you know, it's beyond me, it really isn't. Even like my mom could use it. You know, you don't even have to download it. Just access it via Gmail, sign up. And I think it's the cheapest version. It's like £10 or £5 a month. I don't work for them or advocate them in any way. I'm not getting paid for this plug. But I just think if you're not using it, it's silly, really.
Yeah.
Number 5 is the MENA region. So when we say MENA, it is Middle East, North Africa. We were lucky enough to go out to Dubai this year for the first time ever to meet the music industry. And what would you say? How would you say it was?
I would say it's like ground zero there right now. It's all beginning. You met Pop Arabia. They're doing some amazing things with building a rights association.
Yep.
Which prior to like only a couple of years ago didn't even exist. There was no way artists could actually collect royalties for the music. They were selling it direct to labels for just a fixed fee, maybe $300, and that was it. The song was gone. So it's crazy what was, you know, what you see there, but it's also an exciting area of opportunity for working with artists out there. Maybe you want to collaborate with them. If you're a label, you want to establish yourself there, or an agency, an influencer agency. It's a little bit of the Wild West, but it's also, again, a place where you can build a name. And I think what's also really exciting is the MENA region in general, like you say, is Middle East and North Africa, is the amount of investment that's going into entertainment. Despite what everyone might think over here, or some of the cultural differences, there is so much going into new music and art, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they are, I mean, and then, you know, take Saudi, for example, and Abu Dhabi as well. They are the leaders in terms of, you know, really investing in the cultural arts, music especially. They aren't the leaders, but they will be the leaders, I think, in years to come. Maybe months to come, because they've got the money as well. So they're able to, you know, put some money down and really attract the very best talent. We went out there, we planted our flag, the Liberty flag, and some really exciting things will come out of it next year. The whole kind of Emirati scene of artists is, you know, it's definitely evolving and growing, and the rest of the world wanting to have a presence there and vice versa. I think it's, you know, if you're a British artist, see if you can get out there and go and play at some of their massive kind of arenas or hotels. Try and connect with as many people as you can on LinkedIn, because there's some massive opportunities. And you don't have to actually be particularly big to get really good sort of gig out there, do you?
Yeah.
And Saudi as well.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, like, when obviously only a few years ago, it's all about oil and investment, but they created these amazing cities, and it attracted obviously a lot of tourism. So tourism became the thing. Yeah. But now tourism is pretty much at its peak and maybe still growing, I don't know, but it's kind of the past that second phase. It's now going to entertainment. So the money's now being invested into art, music, and obviously AI and things like that, but entertainment's huge, especially from Saudi and Abu Dhabi, who have that investment money to put into it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting times. I think things are becoming a lot more liberal, and
it is. I think a lot of people have quite bad vibes of that sort of area, maybe Dubai, and you know, we all hear and read about stuff in the media, and actually, having gone out there, it felt quite relaxed. I know they have some really, really strict laws, and obviously it isn't, but generally just being out and about, it did actually feel quite chilled, didn't it?
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And we went to bars and restaurants and drank alcohol, and that, you know, didn't feel like it was a taboo out there. So yeah, really kind of exciting sort of times. And I think one of the biggest things that came out for us, and I think a lot of other music businesses are definitely planting their roots out there. So when we went out there, we met up with quite a few big music businesses that are actually about to have meetings and set up their first office there. So it's all definitely happening out there. So six, it's quite an interesting one, but I was going to look at sort of vulnerability in music and almost that being championed. Like one of the biggest things that came out of this year was the whole, the Lewis Capaldi Glastonbury performance.
Yeah.
Where he actually like got the crowd to sing for him and or not celebrated his sort of differences or illness or whatever, but he was able to kind of be himself on stage, and like there was that real kind of support and
that sort of acceptance from the crowd.
Yeah, acceptance. And I thought actually that's we've made some real headway there as a music business, because a few years ago we'd have just sort of struck someone off as being a bit mad, or they're not quite fit to kind of come out and about. But I feel like the music industry has become a lot more accepting of people's differences. When I was pregnant, 6 years ago, I felt quite embarrassed about kind of coming out and going, I'm pregnant, to the music, my music connections and stuff like that. But now you've got the likes of like Rihanna just like being loud and proud at like 8 months pregnant with like, and I think that we've got to that point now in the music industry where it's like anything goes. You can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think we're hyper aware of each other now more than ever because of the attention on it.
Yeah.
And I think there is obviously the danger of putting people into little boxes based on their differences. But I think if we can break past those divisions, like the Lewis Capaldi thing, and embrace those divisions or those differences or neurodivergent, whatever you want to call it, then I think we'll be in a much better place. And music is a great way to do that, right?
Definitely, and for the final 7th highlight of this year, 2023, is
I think it's the discovery of ideas and how important they are. I think one thing we left last year was with like content, and there's the era of content creators completely dominating. But now I think we're in a world of like ideas, and obviously memes and things like that. It's about capturing a moment. So it's not so much building a brand, but capturing a moment, as we've seen with the era of TikTok and how people can blow up in a second.
Definitely.
And moments are normally made from good ideas.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can I, as a team, what can we come up with and experiment with in terms of content, and putting a bit more forethought into it and getting really creative. And we're seeing artists do that and build a funny sketch before they release their song, and it suddenly gets 200,000 views, and Spotify starts blowing up as well. So I think we're in this new era of creativity and ideas, and I think that's going to be the real valuable thing going into 2024. It's like building a team of ideators. Yeah,
because that's almost like the missing ingredient now. Obviously, we've got all our tools and our AI and everything like that. I mean, but AI can help you do the ideas.
Exactly.
Which
so
is
where do we draw the
well.
line, like between human creativity and silicon creativity?
I guess we combine the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think ideas is a great one, and
We're coming to the end of our 7th year at Liberty.
Yeah, so we celebrated 7 years this year on the 1st of May. We're actually going into our 8th year now, which is just crazy. We're actually almost there, which is just crazy. Anyway, it's been a wild ride. We've learned so much. We've met so many amazing people. And actually, it's funny, we met our mentor today, and he was saying to us, there are stages to a business. There's obviously like the baby phase, the toddler phase, the teenage phase, and then there's the kind of young adult phase. And he feels like we are kind of going into that. We're slightly maturing, which is actually quite funny.
Wine.
Yeah, no, we're not quite at the fine wine stage, Adam. It's an absolute pleasure that we're still here, and we have got so many amazing plans for our 8th year, and we can't wait for you to see them unfold in 2024.
And we'd like to, of course, thank all of our artists who have come to work with us this year.
Yeah.
I think we've had some incredible artists come on board, and a big, big thank you to you all. You've made such a difference to what we do. You're the reason we do what we do.
Yeah.
And you inspire us to keep providing the better and better service and helping you remain independent.
Yeah, and we want to wish everyone a prosperous and healthy, happy new year. We hope that 2024 is everything you want it to be and more. Our DMs are always open. I think you know how to get a hold of me. Obviously, you can do it through the Liberty socials, but also please reach out to me via Damic, which is normally on LinkedIn, or Instagram, which is I'm better at. If you need any support, any advice, you've got any ideas, then do get in touch. We just want to kind of end this and say, you know, thank you very much, and let's smash out 2024 together.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.